He has about 10 minutes.
Yes, we're on.
Congratulations, Representative Bailey. Have you heard the governor's response?
I have not. All I know is I've left the courtroom and still soaking all this
As I walked out of the courtroom about approximately 10 minutes ago, the governor has already issued his response.
Okay.
Would you like to hear it?
Would you
Wow,
like to hear
yes,
it?
I would.
We'll read this into the record.
It says the question boils down to life and death. Stay-at-home order has perverted illness and death. I think it's prevented illness and death. They made an enemy of science. It is an insult to all Illinoisans who have been lost due to COVID-19. No one is better off because of this ruling. This ruling puts the people of Illinois at risk. I hope there is quick action on this decision, and I will fight this to the end.
That was the governor's statement. Any comments?
Yeah, I think the will of our governor has been made known that he knows best. And Governor, you do not know what's best. We have a mechanism in place. It's called the Illinois Department of Public Health. This has all been laid out many years ago before you came around, and that needs to be honored. I have asked you from day one to respect the local governments throughout the state of Illinois, and you have refused that. So it's time to honor that, and I believe that this will be a mechanism of which that's going to happen, that we, the people of this great land, will govern ourselves as our Constitution demands.
My name is Tom DeVore. I'm the attorney for Mr. Bailey, and I've heard the governor say this over and over again. And unfortunately, it works for him sometimes, but I'm hoping it doesn't work much longer where he's engaging in scare tactics of the people of the state. There has been a plan in place for this exact issue. Can I see that, sir? This document? A plan in place. The State of Illinois Department of Public Health Pandemic Influenza Preparedness and Response Plan is the law of this state. It was promulgated by the legislative branch who holds the ultimate police powers of this state, and that document right there lays out in 120 pages how the Illinois Department of Public Health is to manage these types of pandemics. It's very detailed, and it works. It's working now. I talked to my county health department who said, yes, we utilize these processes right now. They're very effective, and moreover, what they have is they have due process requirements within that law that says if your local health department wants to quarantine you, you have the right to due process, the right to go to court and say that I don't believe I should be held in this quarantine. Now, I just heard a very well-meaning gentleman in there on behalf of the governor try to argue that being told to stay at home and you can leave your home only when it's within one of the essential reasons that the governor has dictated is not a quarantine. Now, I know lawyers like to craft arguments, and you guys all laugh at us when we talk about things, but I can tell you, I found it real hard to buy into, you can't leave your house to do anything other than what the governor says, but that's not a quarantine. I'm sorry, I find that to be the same thing. The law that has been provided that supports the Pandemic Influenza Plan, which is the Department of Public Health Act, says, and I quote, the supreme authority for isolation, for quarantine, and moreover, folks, for closure. You know what that means? Closure for businesses. That lies with the Illinois Department of Public Health because the legislature gave them that authority. There's case law from the Illinois Supreme Court that says this legislative authority regarding people's health lies with the legislature, right? And so if businesses are going to be closed, if we're going to have people forced to stay in their homes, all that Mr. Bailey has ever asked is that to be done consistent with the law. And the law is not an executive order. It's not an executive order from one person to decide what's right for this whole state. This state has 102 counties, and those 102 counties are not affected the same. And they shouldn't be treated the same. And for somebody to sit on the governor's office and say that we're going to treat everybody the same is a complete violation of everything that I signed on and took an oath to protect. Thank you.
Can you address one quick question? Particularly, we're getting it a lot from the readers. In regards to your victory today, can you express as to why that's his victory and not every person that doesn't have, the injunction was for Mr. Bailey.
I can absolutely address that.
You bet.
The case that was brought at this particular point in time was as for one citizen, Mr. Bailey. The arguments were made that his rights were being violated, the governor was exceeding his authority. He was successful on that. Whether or not moving forward there needs to be like a representative type of action to where a citizen or group of citizens bring that for a larger group of people, I believe, and hopefully all of you will go talk to legal counsel for yourself to talk about that, because I made it clear up there and I want to make it clear now. The arguments that made in there were not unique to Mr. Bailey as a public official. They were unique to every citizen that walks this country and walks this state. And so each of you has the rights to be protected the same way that Mr. Bailey got protected, and I would hope that each of you seek that out.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, fellas.